Greetings and welcome, all you wizards out there. I'm Dooz Diz Din, and I'm coming at you with another chapter review of Fairy Tale The 100 Years Quest. This time it's chapter 27, titled The Wood God Dragon Alderon. And as our main cast arrives in the central city in the heart of Geltina, called Drasil, they find that the central city is massive, huge, just humongous as a whole place, and they're kind of taken aback by it. However, the one thing that Gray's taken aback by is Juvia's appearance, as something doesn't quite sit right with him. And it was when Carla had asked Juvia in a flashback how the rest of the guild was doing, and for a moment Juvia paused like she was taken off guard by the question. But after a moment passes, she says everyone's doing just fine, which served as a red flag for Gray. And Juvia says she simply followed them to be with Gray, which isn't uncommon, but Gray still feels a little bit off-put by the situation. However, when they arrive at the inn, unfortunately they're not able to really discuss the whole situation, as Juvia can't really be put in the know about the mission. It's against the rules of an S-class mission. So, they decide that, since Gray got to see, since Juvia got to see Gray, that she'll head back to, the Fairy Tale Guild after they just kind of spend the night together and enjoy just hanging out and all that good stuff. So they'll start on leads the next day, but for the time being, they'll just, enjoy just settling down and, healing up from their long trip. So they go to a nearby restaurant, they eat, they drink, they're merry, they have a raucous good time, and eventually just get kicked out of the establishment because of that. But Lucy, after examining the map, notices that the town is in a very interesting shape. However, we then cut to Juvia and Gray talking at the back of the group about how she didn't want to interfere with their whole mission or quest, and she'll head back tomorrow. However, Gray is just happy to have seen Juvia in general. But he does ask her about the fact that something seems different about her, something weird that he just couldn't place his finger on. And it was when Carla had asked about the guild, and she seemed to be lost in thought. And she wonders, hey, did something happen at the guild? And then Juvia starts to freak for a moment. Like she's having trouble remembering, like she's struggling. But then it dawns on her. That's right, there was a new person who had come and joined the guild, and Juvia was suspicious of her, and then she realizes, and she grabs a hold of Gray, and she says, "Beware the White Witch," in ominous words, and then she faints right then and there, having forced herself to recall everything that Toka had done. And as Gray manages to catch her before she completely falls, suddenly the entire city of Drasil starts to shake and rattle and rumble. But as the Fairy Tale Guild starts to kind of freak out, they start to notice that the rest of the townspeople seem very calm. And then an older woman says, you must be travelers. You came to Drasil without doing any research? And they asked her, what do you mean? What research? But the woman says, well, this kind of stuff happens at this time of day, around this time every time. It's become such a, common occurrence that we don't really think too much of it. But for a newcomer, it might be a bit of a shock to you. But just sit down and wait. It'll stop after a little bit of time. You should just join us in a prayer to the earth. Better yet, a prayer to the trees, maybe. And as Lucy starts to realize, and she looks at the map once again, she notices that it's in the shape of something particular. It's in the shape of a hand. A giant hand. And then Wendy realizes, you don't mean what we're standing on right now is, yes, it's a hand. It's the right hand of Drasil, or rather, the right hand is just a small part of the right hand is Drasil, and the right hand is just a small part of the hand of the wood god dragon Alderaan. Dude, this thing is massive. Like the whole town is built just on top of a small part of its hand. Like it maybe if you had like a birthmark on your hand or something, that's the size of this thing. And they're just riding on top of it. Like, Jesus, I can understand why some people would have built a town there too, because with the way these dragons can lie dormant for so many years, after a certain point they would have thought, okay, this is a good place to build, and after 100 years or so, it would have just been like, okay, they would have realized, oh god, we built on top of a dragon, but it just didn't really do much. Because, honestly, these holy pentadrakes don't really do too much. And that's really the thing that's kind of odd. These holy pentadrakes aren't very malicious or evil or terrible or angry or anything like that. They just kind of go about their business and live their own lives for the most part. And Natsu starts to wonder. I was like, man, I heard Alderaan was big, but this is a little too big. So what they're actually going to do with this character is very much unknown. How they're going to handle this creature, it's just like, what do we do with this? How do we face off against a creature this massive? This intimidating? It's, what do you do against something like this? And what kind of actual danger does this creature even pose, ultimately? Because there just seems to be nothing you could really do about it. How is Natsu going to handle this? What's the danger that this creature poses, ultimately? Because the previous one, ultimately his magic was growing out of control, but this one, it seems to be living in harmony with the land and nature and all that good stuff. So what's the rub here? What's the danger? And what of Toka the White Witch? What's her plans here? How did Juvia manage to escape? Or was she simply sent out to find them so that Toka could assault the Fairy Tail Guild themselves? With themselves, possibly. She has that power to control and manipulate them. So, honestly, we'll just have to wait and see from here on out what happens. But it's definitely going to be a really intimidating time. Honestly, I really hope Mashima makes the best out of this, because Alderaan is just something else. Something we've never seen before. And something that I don't even know what you would even do against, because Natsu's flames, that could barely even put a dent in this creature. But tell me your thoughts and theories in the comment section below. Where do you think this is going to go with such a massive creature? What do you think the danger of Alderaan is? Especially when it has, a city on each hand. You can't really damage it without risking thousands of lives at this point. But honestly, I can't even fathom, and that's the real exciting part. What will Hamashima do with such a massive creature? And what's Toka's play here? What is she going to do? And could it be that Toka will actually be the danger of this section of the story arc? Again, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below on my thoughts and theories. If you liked this video, leave me a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave me a dislike and tell me what I did wrong in the comment section below so I might better myself for future videos. Subscribe and hit the bell icon. That way you never miss out on another Fairy Tail the 100 Years Quest chapter review. And if you want to find me on social media, just Google DewsDizDin. I am everywhere, for better or for worse. Be careful of what you find. And until the next video, I just want you to remember that it's not the size of the problem, it's how you handle it that matters. Until next time, I'm Deuce Dizdin, and I'm going to bed. Bye-bye.